lightning and the thunder.
But after all these years, I'm still scared of thunder.
It's time for Middays with Thunder with Mitch Nelles, broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Good midday and welcome in. This is Middays with Thunder on The Fan. 1250 AM, 105.7 FM, The Fan, the free Odyssey app, the free iHeart app, free on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee and at thefanmilwaukee.com as well. My name is Mitch Nelles. I am here in studio. That's The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Our Brewers win 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals, although they dropped yesterday. So it's kind of like, yeah, you won the series, but you don't really have the momentum after a phenomenal, unbelievable game Saturday night that we will discuss during the show today. Plenty of action all weekend long. Badgers losing at Alabama, crazy Tennessee-Georgia game, crazy Notre Dame-Texas A&M game, and then, of course, a full slate of NFL action yesterday. And because the Packers had played on Thursday, we all got to just marinate in the beautificness, the beautificationness, the absolute aura of the Red Zone channel. And we got to bookend our days by our two favorite teams, the Bears and the Vikings, absolutely looking like hot garbage trash as they represent the NFC North to the best of their abilities. Not a great day for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. A Super Bowl rematch. Philly with a few too many tush pushes made, I think, all of us a little uncomfortable, and especially the way they cheat while doing it with the false starts. We will get into that. Camille Davis is going to join the show just in a few minutes at 11:20. Scott Grodsky is going to join us at noon, and Drew Wagner is going to jump in at noon and co-host the rest of the way. Joining me on today's voyage from 11 to 2 is the gentle giant, the bearded wonder, the tall guy amongst small guys. He is Charlie Yuzin. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, how's it going? You're pretty tall too. Like, I wouldn't say I'm
I'm tall-ish.
Probably...
Tommy tells me I'm tall.
Yeah, well, Tommy's a little shorter. So
well, but Tommy also looks up. Like, if you Google average height of American male, I'm over that height.
That's fair. Yeah.
Does that make me tall?
I think so.
I'd say it makes me a little above average. I don't know that it makes me tall.
Right.
You're tall.
I guess. I would say
when
that
you when you go out in public, are you tall?
Yeah. Usually, I was at a concert Saturday night, and it's definitely easier for me to see concerts.
No problem seeing everything. Do you ever wonder about the people behind you? Do you ever feel like
all the time? That's like one of my biggest. Like, I think some people don't have social awareness at all. I think I'm overly socially aware sometimes.
I'm actually at exactly where you are, because you're 6'3", right?
Yep.
So I'm 6 foot. Mm-hmm. But my torso is actually of a 6'3". Like, my legs are really short. I just have I'm a 30. Yeah, and like most people who are 6 foot tall are like 34s.
Right.
So that means my torso is 4 inches longer than I have a long torso. Mm-hmm. But like when I'm sitting at the theater or at a concert or even standing, I don't feel as bad because that I'm 6 foot, just like I'm 6 foot. But if I'm sitting at something and people are trying to watch a speaker or a theater or whatever it might be, that's when I get I really lean down. Yeah, I definitely lean down.
Or sometimes I think I take up too much space, so I squeeze together more than I probably need to.
So if it's a standing concert, you try to make sure that the people behind you are one's on one side and one's on the other, so you're not directly blocking someone.
Usually I try to go as far back as I possibly can. So my girlfriend likes to go up to the front because she's short.
Yep. I was gonna ask, what is the height differential?
Not that, but she's 5'6", so she's average.
Okay, so that's not bad.
Yeah. So but she likes.
Mrs. Thunder's I think she really fights for 5'3.5". I think she's 5'3". She might have that half. I'm not sure.
Give her the half. NFL teams give their players the half.
I haven't had her measured at the combine. We didn't do it. We didn't. You know what'd be fun before weddings? like a combine
Be
before
cool.
weddings, like height, 40 speed. Maybe you don't go weight. It's a little, it's a little touchy.
Or make
there.
it optional at least.
Right. Yeah. But like, or how many bench presses of whatever, probably not 225s, but I mean, you could do the 225.
I'm not, bench press was not my forte.
No,
I could do 225.
You could do 25.
I couldn't rep it like that.
Okay. No, but
I was a squat guy.
Okay. So it was the legs. Got it. He's Charlie Leeson. I'm Mitch Nelles. This is Middays with Thunder here on the Fan. And I think we want to start by looking at some NFL. I know there's 2 games left tonight. So we don't want to dive too deep into that. So first of all, we want to acknowledge that everyone on earth is talking about are the Packers the best team in the NFL? And I know that Sparky's going to get into that in Wisconsin Sports Daily. I'm sure we will get to that at some point. But I don't want to ask that exact question. Like, that's not the question I'm asking. We will ask many questions that are in that universe, though, around that universe. And so the first thing I want to look at with regards to our Green Bay Packers, by the way, the Nick Laylaw Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Charlie, would you put this question out on the socials?
Yes, sir.
Who is worse, J.J. McCarthy or Caleb Williams? I just want to get a feel for what people think right now. After 2 weeks, this is not a binding poll, but I think that's the poll I want to know. I want to know who people think is worse. And you know what? I'm going to put that before I even go to the question I was going to ask about the Packers and the NFL standings. I'm going to put that out on my Twitter account. So let's see. What do I do here? I click. Oh my God, are we having a Thunder moment? No, I just gotta go. There we go. New post. Let's click on the X. What's happening? Let's click on poll. Let's go. Ask a question. Who is worse, JJ McCarthy or Caleb Williams at the Fan Milwaukee? ? Choice 1 is JJ. Choice 2 is Caleb. And that's it, right?
That's it.
All right.
Got it.
Yeah. All right. So I'm posting that from mine. You can share from mine if you want to.
I just posted it from the Fan.
A poll or just the question?
A poll.
Okay. So we have 2 polls going. I have a personal poll and you have the fan. All right. Nice. So we'll get a good feel for what people say on this one. The Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Indianapolis Colts, one of the Chargers or the Raiders, the Philadelphia Eagles, the 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, and the LA Rams, and potentially the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Those are your 2-0 teams in the National Football League. Let's go to the NFC specifically because there's a bunch of them. And the Green Bay Packers, of course. The Eagles, the Packers, the Niners, Cardinals, Rams, maybe the Buccaneers. Just want to get a feel like what is when I read those team names out loud, Charlie. Eagles, Packers, let's skip the Bucks for now. And actually, let me see what our friends. Yeah, I mean Houston's favored at home again by 2.5. So let's not include Tampa for now. Those 5 teams: Philly, Green Bay, San Francisco, Arizona, and the Rams. Those are your 5 teams that are 2-0 in the NFC after week 2. Does that feel about right?
About right. I think Arizona is obviously a little bit of an outlier in that group, but that's also a really talented young team that I think I've said last season, I feel like they're going to surprise people this season. I feel like that even more so.
Yep.
So I think that's going to end up being a better team than a lot of people give them credit for. But the other 5 teams in that group, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds like the playoffs that have been around for the past 4 years, but outside of like Detroit being mixed in there and Minnesota being mixed in there.
Right. Detroit and Minnesota, of course, both 1-1. Your 0-2 teams are the Giants, the Bears, the Saints, the Panthers. Those are your 4 0-2 teams. I said it last week, and I still believe it. I think the Saints can go 0-17. Do we all agree?
Right? I don't know. I kind of like Spencer Rattler sometimes. I think there's going to be a game or two where he surprises people.
But I still think they end up finding a way to lose that game. Like, I think Spencer Rattler could go like 355 and 3 touchdowns in a game they're losing, bring them back to lead with 2.5 minutes left, and they end up losing the game. Like that to me is the Spencer Rattler game.
They got the Giants, the Patriots, the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Panthers again,
twice,
the Titans.
They got the Dolphins.
I mean, they got
all right. They
got a pretty easy schedule. There's at least one win in there.
All right. You have convinced me. Yeah, that's good. We got some comments coming in on YouTube, which we love. Remember, YouTube channel is at The Fan Milwaukee. Q writes in right away. Let's see. Significant other.
He says significant other measurements sounds like Mitch has a death wish because it's a Monday.
Right. No, we're not. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why the scale is optional. But I think like running the 40 and I think the height, I think that's fun. Like I think that'd be fun if you did if you did a combine before you got married. But he says, I'm go Caleb. I'll ride with the Bears. Bad karma until the day I die. Sorry, see you. So he's saying Caleb is worse. That is his vote. Who is worse, JJ McCarthy or Caleb Williams? 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. If you want to chime in, that's the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. You can call in with your answer and share that. You can also text in your answer to that number, 414-677-1250. And of course, like many people are already doing, we're already seeing some good action on our Twitter polls. My question is like, all right, so how many people, because we put it up from my account and from your account, how many people put it up from both of our, how many people are voting in both? So skewing the whole number. But you know what? That's okay. That's all right. Camille Davis is coming up in a couple minutes. But I got a question for you, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
We have a double authentication here at Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we log into our email, and you don't always have to double authenticate sometimes, but like after a weekend or something like that. It never, unless I'm connected to like my home internet at home, it never tells me I'm connected in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Does that happen for you too? Like do you have to click the one login on your phone?
Yeah.
So right now, I just went to go log into the text club. Mitch Thunder Nelles at Entercom, because we're still under our old name.
Mm-hmm.
Stamford, Connecticut. I mean, WWE is based in Stamford, Connecticut. A lot of times I know our corporate headquarters are in Philly. So a lot of times I'll get Philly. Sometimes I'll get Chicago. I've gotten New York. Like I'm accepting it because that is me. And I'm connected to our intranet here. Like, and so I wonder like what hub is our internet here in Hales Corners, Wisconsin connected to that it thinks I'm in Stamford, Connecticut. What?
I don't really, I guess, pay that much attention to that.
You got to start paying attention
to this. I was going to say, that's probably the more wisdom in you.
I just want to see what, like, because it's always like, it's always one of 6 different places, but I could do this again in 20 minutes and it'll give me a different place. My computer literally hasn't moved. My phone literally hasn't moved, but I could log out and log back in 20 minutes and I guarantee you it'll give me Philly or New York, maybe Chicago.
I wonder if it like rotates it in order for like cybersecurity. It's so they different locations, so it rotates through multiple.
Do you think
locations.
IT Ed would know this answer?
Probably.
He's so smart.
He's the smartest man in the building.
I mean, imagine if you were an IT person. Can you even imagine?
No, I'm not that smart.
I know. Same. And you know what I'm really good at though? Restarting. No one ever has to remind me, and no one ever has to remind me to restart. I always know to restart.
For an old person, I'm proud of you, Mitch.
Oh, relax. I think my IT skills are better than most.
Probably,
but that's something I've never understood. Who's worse, JJ McCarthy or Caleb Williams? We will get into the Brewers later on in the show. Again, the Brewers are 91-59. If they go 6-6 the rest of the way, they will set a franchise record with 97 victories. For Philly to get the top spot in the National League, if the Brewers go 6-6, Philly has to go 9-3. They cannot tie the Brewers because the Brewers have the tiebreaker over Philly. They'd have to finish a game ahead. If the Brewers go 6-6 the rest of the way, the Cubs have to go 12-1 to win the NL Central. I think the Brewers can go 6-6. I don't think the Cubs can go 12-1, bro.
I don't think so.
It's just not going to happen.
No shot.
Now, could the Brewers go worse than 6-6? Sure. 3 games in San Diego are going to be tough, but first of all, you just got to win the series against the Angels. I mean, I'd like to sweep the Angels. The Angels are a mess. They just got swept in a 4-game series where they struck out 62 times and were absolutely terrible. It's not that easy. You still play baseball. You never know what's going to happen, but you got to win that series. And so we will talk more Brewers as we move on in the show. Camille Davis, Locked On Bucks, Locked On Packers, all sorts of great podcasting, and we actually have a little Giannis to talk about. There's some Giannis in the news, so we'll talk about a little bit of that as well with Camille Davis next here on Middays with Thunder, 12:50 a.m. 105.7 FM The Fan, free on the Odyssey and iHeart apps and on YouTube.
There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes.
This is Middays with Thunder here on 12:50 a.m. 105.7 FM The Fan, free on the Odyssey app. Brewers win 2 out of 3. Packers with the weekend off. Badgers don't win in Alabama, much to no one's surprise. And joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law, one call, that's all. She is another one of our best friends. Camille Davis in the house. Camille, how are you?
I'm doing good on this Monday. It's a perfect weekend, Mitch, when the Packers have already won. You get to just watch football. You get to hate watch some teams.
Yes.
It's a perfect weekend. Perfect weekend.
We talked about it a little bit in the first segment. I like at noon, and I think I tweeted it out at 11:59. I took a picture of the countdown on the Red Zone channel. I said, it was a minute and 36 seconds to go or whatever. I said, I said exactly that. Packers already won. We got the Red Zone channel all day, switching back and forth between Red Zone and the Brewers game. And if I needed to focus on the Lions Bears for a second, I could do that too.
Yep.
What a wonderful Sunday, Camille.
Truly. And it was nice outside too. Like I went out, had a little walk, came back, watched football all day, had to get the exercise in before being on the couch for like 10 straight hours and just consuming
that's smart.
Football and basketball and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I usually get to the gym earlier on Sunday, but I didn't, and so I had to go later in the afternoon, and I was definitely dragging after, again, sitting still for like 4 hours, and then I was like, luckily my daughter, who she's the athlete, she was like, "Dad, we got to go to the gym today." I was like,
love that.
You're right, we do. Yes, yeah, for sure. So I mean, let's start with the Packers, because it was a great win Thursday night. It was a great message. And as we saw from this weekend, Philly sends a message, but the Bears and the Vikings, probably who we thought they were. So from a Packers perspective, what impressed you the most Thursday night against Washington?
That the defense stepped up to the charge again. Like the Lions defense or offense is challenging for sure. And we saw how that defense responded. Now you're going up against a Commanders team where you have a quarterback that is a rushing risk. And on top of that, it's a Commanders team that the week prior had quite a few different explosive plays that first week against the Giants, where you're just kind of like, okay, let's see if the Packers are going to be able to contain the explosive plays, contain Jaden Daniels, and see how this defense responds. And they did, again, force Jaden Daniels into the worst game of his young NFL career so far. And I was just impressed with the cornerbacks, the pass rush, like the entire operation of the defense impressed me, especially like a Keyshawn Nixon with 5 pass breakups in that game against the Commanders. There were so many questions about the secondary. And there are still some questions that they're going to have to answer those test questions to. But what we saw on Thursday just continued the hype train of this Packers team could be special.
Yeah. And I think that's the question everybody's asking today. That is the question of the day. Are the Packers the best team in the NFL? Are they the best team in the NFC? Is anybody else sending a message 2 weeks into the season like the Packers are? And I think my big thing is, man, I've been saying this for years. Who you are in November and December is not who you are in September and October. And it's as excited as I am today as a Packers fan, it's great. Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy this ride. But we have no idea what these teams are going to look like 3 months from now. So let's not set up expectations for 5 of those last 7 games in the division plus Denver and Baltimore. Let's not set up expectations for playoffs and Super Bowl. Let's enjoy what's going on right now. And obviously with Cleveland coming up, let's not look ahead. Let's take care of Cleveland, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that could be a trap game, especially knowing that you have Dallas the week after Cleveland, right before your bye week. So you got to take it all day at a time. And we've heard the locker room before say, we don't listen to outside noise when it's bad or when it's good. You have to kind of try to stay even. It is a long season. And we know injuries are a feature, not a bug of football. So they're going to occur. We saw them have to overcome some injuries already in week 2 of the NFL season.
The offensive line is a little shaky right now, Camille.
Yeah. So again, it's cool to be excited about where you're at right now. But to your point, who you are in September does not mean that's who you're going to be come December and January. And I think those who are old enough to remember the last Super Bowl run, 15 years ago now, which is crazy that was 15 years ago, of how that team really started clicking in November, December, where you're seeing it hey, this Packers team might be able to make some noise in the playoffs. Then come to playoff run and you see what they do. So it's a long season. Take everything we got at time, but also take joy in the fact that you can look down the rest of the division right now. But just beware if you give it out, if things turn and other teams start dishing it's all fair game.
I've not had the opportunity to meet him yet, as I know many of us have not. But Micah Parsons has done nothing but impress, both on the field, but also in the locker room, also, behind the microphone, the things he said. And I kind of feel like he's the type of guy who's going to lead the charge this week in not looking past Cleveland. And I think part of that is obviously the focus and the camaraderie he's finding in that locker room. At some point, we will have to take our Power of Friendship blue and yellow shirts for the Brewers and maybe get some green and gold Power of Friendship ones as well. But I do wonder if there's a little piece of Micah Parsons that sees that Myles Garrett already has 3.5 sacks on the season and says, hey, we can't take these guys lightly. I know how disruptive Garrett is. I got to catch up to him. And we as a team need to focus on this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that seems focused on just getting those wins. Even in week one, I saw like the sideline footage, and I forget who it was that was talking to Josh Jacobs, but they were like, we're going to get you going soon. We're going to get you going, we get you going. And you heard Jacobs respond of, man, I just want to win the game. Like, it's whatever, just win the game. And we know in that week one matchup, the run game really didn't have much going for it. That first half, third quarter, they kept at it. Fourth quarter is when they finally started to see the results. Yep. And I think that mentality is one that this entire team shares now of, hey, we know we're still the youngest team in the NFL, but we're young with experience. We've had the highs of a playoff win that felt really good, in Dallas. We've also felt the lows of the disappointment of losing to a San Francisco, of a Philly, over the last 2 years as well. And you bring in Micah Parsons, who's really thirsty for those playoff victories, for that type of success. I think you just have a group of guys that's like, we want to win. I think I've been saying like Micah Parsons feels like the cherry on top of what this team needed for energy. But even before the trade, it felt like this defense, this team just had a different mindset heading into the season. So if they are who we think they are, this week 3 matchup against the Browns won't be a trap game. It'll be another example of a professional team coming out and getting a professional win.
I like that. Camille Davis joining us here on Middays with Thunder on the Fan. Follow her on Twitter at Camille Monet. Who is worse, JJ McCarthy or Caleb Williams? That's actually our poll question we have up right now on Twitter. I can tell you some of our results if you want to hear them first, or do you want to give your take first?
I want to hear the results because that's a hard question to answer. Like JJ McCarthy, he's played 2 games.
He's played 2 games. He's played 1 good quarter. It was a really good quarter, but it was against the team that gave up 52 points yesterday. So right now, according to my calculations, I've got 60% saying JJ's worse, 40% saying Caleb's worse. So, Charlie, what do you got over there?
We got 55 saying JJ's worth, 44 saying Caleb Williams.
So we're pretty much in the same zone. High 50s for JJ, low 40s for Caleb.
That feels about right for now. Given that, again, the sample size for McCarthy, it's just not a big sample size for JJ yet, and what we have seen has not been great outside of that fourth quarter from him. And meanwhile, we've seen Caleb running for his life through most of last season with poor offensive line, but also making some decisions that you would probably want back, holding the ball too long. And this season, from what we see, if you're just looking at this 2-game sample size of these 2 quarterbacks, Caleb makes some throws and you're just like, man, the arm talent on this kid is for real. And then he'll do something and you're like, why, what was your decision making behind it? Like the interception he had where he was forced out the pocket, it was pressure, and he just throws it up. And it's like, why didn't you just throw it out of bounds? Like live for the next play.
What are we doing here?
That's the question. It's the learning of it all. Like hopefully for Bears fans, not hopefully for people who have an interest in the Green Bay Packers, but the hope is that Ben Johnson can kind of help continue to nurture him in his development. But Caleb is erratic at times. So I'll give him the nod for now, but at the end of the season, that's going to be a question worth revisiting.
What did you think of Ben Johnson yesterday when he was asked if he thought that they were running it up? And he's like, listen, they had 4th and goal at the 1. Like I was there. Like they don't kick field goals. They go for touchdowns. I had no problem with that. They were just playing football. I don't know if he was like trying to be politically correct and nice to his old boss. I don't know if he really believed that. It sure seemed like he took the the high road on that. What did you think of that response?
Yeah, I thought that's the way you should respond. Like he knows better than anybody. Like he just came from there. He was just the offensive coordinator running it up on other teams. So he knows the mentality of that squad. So that's the way to take it. Like he was very jovial and whatnot when he got that job with the Bears, making his cracks at Matt LaFleur and all of those things. And week 1,
keep making cracks, bro.
Exactly, because the Chicago media is not a friendly market. Like if you're not producing those results, you're going to have to answer some questions. So I thought he handled that pretty well with the question in regards to if Detroit was running the score up.
Anything else pique your interest yesterday in the NFL? Obviously, we saw Philly run 47 tush pushes and beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So that could be, or anything else on your mind from yesterday in the NFL?
Yeah, I think just the teams that are 2-0, taking a stock of like I heard you mention this earlier too, of the teams that are 2-0 and just being like, okay, what's really real here? And then the
Yeah.
opposite of that is the teams that are 0-2. What's really real here? Like, are you concerned about the Chiefs right now being 0-2, losing 3 games for the first time with Patrick Mahomes, including the Super Bowl? Like,
Yep.
are you
No, because
worried
I
about?
actually thought I said it 2 weeks ago. I thought the Chiefs were done. Like I liked the Potawatomi under for wins for Chiefs this year. And actually, right before the season started, we were talking. We had a reporter on from Phoenix, and we were talking about because the Brewers were playing the Diamondbacks at the time. But he also said he threw in at the end. He said, "Take the over on the Cardinals. They're going to surprise some people this year. Like they're not ready to win playoff games, plural." But they're going to be better than people think. And, 2 games in, I don't know if they're really better than people think. Like they've won 2 games they were supposed to win. Beating Carolina is not that impressive. But listen, you start the season 2-0. That's a good place to be.
It is. Even the Colts like haven't been 2-0
Like what? The
in
Colts
years. In
with
years,
Daniel Jones?
looking like a real quarterback.
Should Minnesota have kept Daniel Jones?
If this is what JJ's going to give you, the answer is yes. But again, he's a young player. There is a lot of time for growth, and he's going to take his licks throughout the season. But yeah, the Colts being 2-0 surprised me. The Cardinals is one. I thought the Cardinals were going to be a playoff team this year. Yep. So this is boding well for my preseason predictions in regards to Arizona.
Absolutely it is. Camille Davis joining us here on the Fan 1250 AM 105.7 FM, the Fan free on the Odyssey app and on the iHeart app as well. She joins us pretty often throughout the days on our local programming, talking Bucks, talking Packers. We're trying to get her to talk a little more Brewers. We're trying to get her excited.
Trying.
I mean, right. It's exciting right now. The Brewers still the best record in baseball.
Listen, just because I don't watch baseball often does not mean I love the Brewers. When I saw the video too of the letter that Bob Uecker had.
Yeah, we're gonna be playing that later in the show too. Yeah.
Like, how could you not? Like that's the thing about sports in general, not just
why,
sports.
Camille, why did you come to my house and just decide to cut onions out of nowhere? Like,
right.
I wasn't even planning to cry. And like all of a sudden you came over and you were cutting onions. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm crying now. We might as well watch Pat Murphy, right?
Exactly. So like it's a beautiful thing. Like I'm all for the Brew Crew, and once the playoffs actually get underway, that is when I will watch most of the games. 162 games. That's a lot. Especially when I'm also got basketball and I got
Pat. Well, I was going to say 82 games is a lot.
Yeah.
And well, we saw over the last couple of weeks, it's not just 82 games because Eurobasket and Euro hoops and all that was going on. How much of that did you take in? And obviously Giannis became a pretty big story, both of like performing amazingly on the court and also maybe a little budding rivalry with Mr. Houston.
I know that's right. I watched every game actually, except for that game against Turkey when they got blown out with single.
What happened?
Maybe it's my fault.
Turkey it could be Camille, you did not do your job.
That's the one game. The one I didn't watch live, and I came back and said, "Oh my goodness!"
They got blown out by Turkey.
Yeah, that's the one. But I did watch the Finland game, the bronze medal game in its entirety. That was one where it felt comfortable until the end when Finland just had a crazy comeback, and it came down to the very last shot in that game. And ultimately, I'm really happy for Giannis, for Thanasis, for Kostas, for the entire Antetokounmpo family. I know some people took exception of Giannis saying that was the greatest accomplishment of his career, winning that bronze medal for Greece, but I get it. He mentioned when he won a championship in Milwaukee that part of why he loved it so much was because it unified thousands of people in the city, in the region, and he saw
80,000 people outside at the Deer District. We all remember that scene.
Thousands. And for him to do this for Greece, where now he's not with just thousands of people, but it's millions. It's an entire country.
Yeah. He said it was like he had 12 million people who are on his shoulders, and he just wanted a medal. Here, let's listen to what Giannis said.
Thank you so much for the support. Without them, this is not possible. They've supported this team through ups and downs. We did it. This is one of the biggest probably accomplishment that I've ever accomplished as an athlete. I know I've won an NBA championship, but there's no feeling like representing your national team and representing 12 million people that breathe and live this national team. So this is probably the greatest accomplishment I've accomplished so far in my life.
Listen, I know Bucks fans want to say, "Oh, we gotta win a playoff." It's been too long since we won a playoff round, and we need you focused on the Bucks. Man, if you don't love the spirit and the emotion of Giannis and like what his national pride. I mean, we. I don't want to get political, but I will say for 1 second that like we go out in America and we see like there are flags and people are very patriotic, and we have the 4th of July, and we have like, it like there's a lot of pride in being an American. Not saying our country's perfect, but knowing that like, that I mean, Stephen Colbert wins the Emmy last night, and at the end of it, he talks about how proud he is to be an American and that like things are hard right now, but like we can do hard things. Yeah. Well, Giannis, we all know his background. Like we all know what it was like for him growing up in Greece, being an other, not, being an illegal immigrant or a child of an illegal immigrant, whatever that was. And then finding his way through basketball, through that opportunity, and then being welcomed back and being, the shining sun of that nation. Like if you don't get chills with this story and with his life story and him being proud and emotional at representing his country, man, this is what sports is all about.
It is. And that's the joy of the Giannis story, right? And for those who have followed him from the beginning, like I've always laugh because I align Giannis's career with the start of my marriage. Like me and my husband started dating the year the Bucks drafted Giannis, and
2013.
That's when we got together. When Giannis
I'm old, but sometimes I remember things. I was there that night. I was there that night.
The year because Giannis was drafted that year too. Yep. Like it's ingrained in my head in that way. And watching him being that like 18-year-old kid who came here, and now he is a 31-year-old grown man with 4 kids, a wife. He's accomplished MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years, championships, NBA cups, now bronze medals. Like to see him become one of the 75 greatest players to ever play in the NBA in the history of this league. It's beautiful to see the growth in him and to be someone who's been able to, like Milwaukee, we watched this journey from the beginning. And that's the beautiful thing with it. Like even those lean years for the Bucks when they weren't winning and it was hard to watch games in public and you were getting ridiculed, like that made the championship, in my opinion, even better because you watch that entire story leading up into it. So like, again, shout out to Giannis winning that bronze for Greece. Shout out to Greece for that. Like Bucks fans are low-key Greece fans when they're not playing United States. So we
just want Giannis. We want Giannis to do well. But as a selfish Bucks fan too, I want this to translate so that when Giannis gets back, he shares that experience with his teammates. But he also, as we know, like Giannis is nothing if not work ethic. But that he shows that like how important this is to his teammates and that it's time to get to work and starting in training camp in September and starting in exhibition games. Like, I mean, exhibition, it's fake basketball, but starting when the season starts in October, like it is, you don't wait till March. This team can't wait till March or April to get to work. They got to get to work immediately. They got to bond, it's new faces. Dame's not there, figuring this out. I think that's what I want to see, this energy from Giannis translate over to this Bucks team this year.
I think that's one of the bigger storylines heading into the season, because if you think about the championship year when PJ Tucker came, he mentioned like we're all dogs. They just needed someone to help communicate. Like they don't talk. Giannis doesn't talk. Chris don't talk. They just go out there and they play and they hope people follow their lead based on how they play. But you heard even last year, Giannis was becoming a more vocal.
I was going to say, do you think Giannis talks more? I was going to agree. Like Giannis talks more now than he used to, right?
And then even for Eurobasket, you heard the Greece coach just say like, hey, Giannis is being super vocal. Like I haven't heard him be this vocal. So that's something I hope continues to carry over and something I think is going to be needed for the Bucks in this upcoming year, with him being like the big bet on the team. It's him and Bobby Portis of like your longest standing members on this Milwaukee Bucks team now. So leadership is going to be very important from him and from Bobby, to be honest.
Camille Davis joining us here on The Fan. She's on the Fan Guest Hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. It is, it's this mini bye that the Packers have. Going back to the Packers real quick, it does give the team time for rest. It does, we were so excited for those first 2 games, the 2 home games. And now you get into the grind, right? Like now you get into it. It's Cleveland, but then it's Sunday Night Football against Dallas. Then it's a bye again. I know with the wide receiver room kind of in flux right now, what are you looking for over the next week or so with the Packers that they need to, is it how the offensive line figures out injuries? Is it Jaden Reed and then Christian Watson coming back, or Matthew Golden's role? Or is it more just like sitting back and watching the defense be the best defense in the NFL right now?
Yeah, I think the wide receiver room is going to be an interesting point. But I think for me, over the next couple of weeks, what I'm really looking for from the Packers is just seeing how consistent can you be? How disciplined can you be? Because when you think about last year's Packer team, and even the year before that, Jordan Love's first year starting, the big Achilles heel was like the penalties. In this preseason, I was like, hey, we're still seeing a little too many. We haven't seen that so far. But in a game against like a Browns team that hasn't won anything yet, can you still have that discipline to make sure you're doing what you need to be doing? Can the Packers just not beat themselves? That's what I'm really looking for, because if the Packers show me that they can be a disciplined team consistently, that right there gives me really, really good feelings about what their ceiling could possibly be for this year.
Yeah, I think, and that's as I harp on every week, like that's the exciting thing that we all get to find out together, right?
Yeah.
Like we all, like, it's all going to happen. We get to be a part of it. We get to watch it. And no matter what, that we're all part of Packer Nation, and we get to see what happens. Tell everybody what you're working on. What are the different podcasts you got going on? Where can we find it? What are you talking about these days?
Yeah, for sure. So Locked On Bucks still Monday through Friday for you all, giving you that 30 minutes of Bucks talk every single day.
Nice.
Pack a Day podcast. I am there on every Monday on the audio side. I'm also on the Pack a Day YouTube page, post game with instant reactions.
Nice.
Doing Ahead of the Pack with Cheesehead TV comes out every Thursday, normally previewing the upcoming opponent for the Packers. And then the Technical File podcast drops every Wednesday. We record it live every Tuesday on our YouTube page, where we cover NBA, NFL, and pro wrestling.
I was going to say, we got WrestlePalooza coming up.
Yes, we'll be previewing that this week.
Yep. That's coming up Saturday night. Should be interesting. I know there was some not so great feedback for the WWE with their most recent announcement. If you missed it, WrestleMania 47, which is in 2027, will be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And the thought that the first WrestleMania not in North America was going to go to London, and it goes instead to Riyadh because they wrote a really big check. So I believe there were already chants in Vegas on Friday night during the AAA takeover when they showed the commercial for it of "You sold out, you sold out, you sold out." I mean, listen, again, like every situation's political and every situation's financial. We live on Earth in 2025, right? The press conference, the WWE stars did not look happy to be there. And it's just, and even Triple H, who was making the announcement, didn't look, because it wasn't him, it was his board. I mean, I don't, as a fan, I'm kind of torn on this one, because I frankly don't love the shows in Riyadh. I don't think they're great shows. And I think it's not, as much, being a girl dad, like, I don't think the women are have the opportunity to shine as much either. I don't know, like, but they got paid hundreds of millions of dollars to do
that's
it.
What they care about.
And who says no? Listen, who says no to hundreds of millions of dollars? It's hard.
Not TKO, not WWE.
Not TKO, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, so we'll that's the Technical Foul podcast that comes out every Wednesday, right?
Yes, where we talk the wrestling.
All right, so we will. I'm sure there'll be some reaction to that, and of course, looking ahead to Cena and Lesnar, among other matches. But I think we're all excited for Cena and Lesnar Saturday night in Indianapolis. Any party you want to drive down to Indianapolis Saturday? You thinking about it?
No, not for WrestlePalooza.
For 4.5 hours. It's really easy.
That's all right. Yeah,
All right.
that's all right. I got other things to do. 2K came out a couple weeks. I got to make sure I get my player up, Mitch.
All right. You're right. That's a good point. Camille, thank you so much for jumping on today. I will definitely talk to you, down the road, and we'll be listening to all the different audio opportunities and video with all the different podcasts. So thank you so much for jumping on today.
For sure. Look forward to the next time.
Absolutely. She is Camille Davis. Follow her at Camille Monet. And if you follow her on Twitter, you'll get the links to everywhere you can find her. And she'll be, and she does awesome work. Locked On Bucks podcast is fantastic. Obviously, I'm a WWE knucklehead, so I get into that stuff too. But the Packer stuff, and now that she's doing stuff with Packaday and with Cheesehead TV, it's like, man, that's some good stuff right there. Scott Grodsky is going to join us in the 12 o'clock hour. Drew Wagner's coming in, and so he'll be here. Actually, if he's not here, he could stop and get me some cough drops.
He could be your savior.
He could be. I don't know if he's listening right now. Let's go. Drew Wagner texting. Hey, on your way in, can you grab some cough drops? ? Man, I love live radio. Live radio is the best. I love all our friends who are podcasters. I love podcasting, but man, there is something magical and special about live radio that I can just like voice talk to text while I'm on the radio to see if Drew Wagner can get me some cough drops. This is Middays with Thunder, 1250 AM 105.7 FM, The Fan, free on the Odyssey iHeart apps, and we are on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hi.
back there to the place where I fell asleep.
So back to the place where you said, I want something else to get me through this semi-charm kind of life, baby, baby. All right, I am definitely going back later today on YouTube and seeing how that sounds a cappella, because I think I nailed it.
I think you did pretty good.
I think I did
you're a
pretty
pro.
right. Like that song is in my I don't have a great singing voice, but that song is definitely in my range. Thanks again to Camille Davis for joining us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all in the 12 o'clock hour. Scott Grodsky, CBS 58, is going to be joining us. Drew Wagner is going to be jumping in the studio as well. And like Camille said, we talked some Packers. We also got to talk some Bucks, and it's always fun when we get to talk some Bucks. If you were following along with Eurobasket, you do know that Germany won the championship over Turkey. Dennis Schroeder. I feel like Dennis Schroeder has been rumored to be a Milwaukee Bucks 7,000 times, and he's never whether he's been, because he's been bought out a couple times now. He's been on the trading block a number of times. I believe he's a member of the Sacramento Kings right now.
I believe so.
Which
yeah.
I wonder if that's going to stick, or if they end up buying him out. And because the Bucks do have, they don't have any openings on their roster right now, but they do have, when you look conceptually at their roster, they do have an opening for a veteran point guard. Dennis Schroeder might be that kind of guy.
I guess I just don't really think he fits what this Bucks team is ever looking for. I think every time he is a free agent, he doesn't really give you that kind of defensive energy that you want. Maybe not. You don't have to be a great defensive player for the Bucks. You just have to be able to want to play defense. I think.
I think he's gotten a lot. When he for those of you who don't know Dennis Schroeder, not to get too big in the weeds, he turned down like a 4-year, $88 million deal by the Lakers. He bet on himself and he lost big. And he never saw that kind of money again. But he does sign like between $10 and $15 million deals every year. I think that as he's grown, he's gotten a lot peskier and a lot better at defense. And I actually think he and Giannis would work really well together. And I'm going to say half the things I say, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I think their European roots, like the way they see the game and the way they play the game, style of basketball, I think that melds well together. So I wouldn't hate if there was an injury or if there was an opening for Dennis Schroeder to come to the Milwaukee Bucks this year. I think that would be a really good fit. But good for Giannis for getting his willing that Greece team that probably was on par with a number of other teams, getting them to the third place finish there. And we'll keep an eye on what this means. And when he's back in Milwaukee, I'm sure we'll get an update on Instagram or YouTube or whatever he decides to go live on next, because he's very, very active on the socials. Scott Grodsky coming up next here on Middays with Thunder. Drew Wagner is in the studio. We will talk to him as well. And remember, everybody's talking about it. After watching the rest of the NFL this weekend, are the Packers the best team in the league after week 2? Sparky's going to answer that question on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's this afternoon, starting at 2 on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. The Fan. The Brewers are off today. There is a Monday night doubleheader tonight. We'll talk about all that and more as the show goes on right here on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM. The Fan, free on the Odyssey and iHeart apps, and we're on YouTube.